that there's an average of more than 30 Christians in Nigeria being killed every single day. More than 7,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria this year. Yet Nigeria has pushed back against reports such as those. Its Ministry of Foreign Affairs saying earlier that this year that there's plenty of misinformation and misleading reports regarding the supposed targeted killings of Christians. Can I get your response to that?
Yeah, the government's speaking nonsense and hoping the world doesn't pay attention. Nigeria today is an epicenter of Christian martyrdom. Since the year 2000, more than 60,000 Christians have been murdered by Islamist groups like Boko Haram, heavily armed Fulani militia. Our organisation's 2023 report I mentioned places Nigeria firmly in the red category, meaning it's persecution, it's not just discrimination. You know, what makes Nigeria unique is that Christians are not even a tiny minority. They make up almost half the population, 100 million people, yet they live as if they're second-class citizens, especially in the north. The Nigerian government's failed to take any meaningful action to prevent attacks, and the violence is relentless. In Benue State alone, one diocese recorded 93 villages attacked, 330 farmers killed in just a year. This past June, a couple months ago, another attack in Benue. A gunman raided a town, killed 100 people, forced 4,000 to leave. And it's not just killings, Gabriella. We're speaking of abductions, burned villages, destruction of churches, millions forced into camps where they lack even the basics. And every single day, Nigerian Christians wake up to the fresh news of kidnappings or attacks. It's not sporadic, it's systematic, it's targeted, it's gone on for decades with little accountability.
Good day, sir. Viewers, if you are watching, click on the like button, drop your comment, and also share this program to others. Now, UK, US might suspend Nigeria from the Commonwealth. Why? Because our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu tagged IPOB as a terrorist organization. What do you have to say about this?
It comes as a very surprise to destabilize the entire eastern Nigeria for coming out with that kind of statement. But a lot of people who have risen against that statement shows that IPOB is never a terrorist organization. Nigeria is just being manipulative with the reality on ground. Currently now, they have written to the Commonwealth Secretary General, who happens to be a Ghanaian, a former Ghanaian, Foreign Affairs Minister, Buchwe, Shelley has acknowledged that petition that written by Pan-African Institute to Commonwealth that action should be taken against the federal government, tagging IPOB as a terrorist organization, and this might actually lead, to a judicial execution of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in DSS custody. Nigerian government has not been able to establish, any case against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. A lot of people wonder how Bola Ahmed Tinubu, get to that decision of prejudicial trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and also sending a direct signal that is likely going to compromise the judicial process of releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with that pronouncement. He has actually threatened that lives should be lost and nothing will happen. It has been generating tensions globally. There's massive unrest in the eastern part of the country, and the whole thing, everybody is coming in condemnation of that October speech by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which has also attracted the attention of UN agencies that put Commonwealth nations, on alert over the violation. There are reasons why Commonwealth can, actually, suspend a member country, especially when it comes to, abuse of human rights, oppression and suppression, that like what we are witnessing today, where, the judiciary is not independent enough to be able to take a pronouncement on an issue that has to do with self-determination. All over the world, nobody has ever tagged IPOB as a terrorist organization. IPOB is being seen everywhere in the world. They are visible and they are not violent. So it has compromised the situation already on ground and causing more tension. I wonder how Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to go to the eastern part of the country, where he has actually labeled that region a terrorist organization, to seek for their votes. I do not know how he intends to achieve that. I do not know how you intend to use southeastern governors, to achieve that mission. So those who you labeled as a terrorist organization, but if you don't know the meaning of IPOB, let me properly put you on note, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that IPOB actually means the indigenous people of Biafra, comprising of the South-South and of course the Southeast. They are the Biafrans you are talking about that you labeled as a terrorist organization. Nigeria have a case to answer because the suspension, the documents from what we are hearing has reportedly been acknowledged by the Commonwealth General, who happens to be a former minister in Ghana. Her name is Shelley Bochwe, and he has put everybody on alert that if care is not taken, because the world is observing. The last time the Commonwealth suspended Nigeria was around maybe 1995, or during the case of Sarowiwa, until they finally returned to democratic rule, where that they were being acknowledged back as a member state. But now there's this massive violation of a total collapse of democratic principles, and these are the things that will likely lead to suspension, which has been documented properly and be presented to the Commonwealth. The consequences of this is that Nigeria will be disengaged, and of course from anything that has to do with a global engagement currently now, and that will go a little bit further to damage the process of trying to reunite with the international community. Quite condemnable. I don't know how he intends to achieve that, but a lot of people, the U.S. agency, human rights agency, have written to the congressmen currently now, and they are working on those documents. We don't know what they're going to come out with it at the end of the day. But while we are still talking about global condemnation of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's tag of IPOB as a terrorist organization, that means he is not likely going to go to the eastern part of the country to ask for their votes, because IPOB is an umbrella organization of all the indigenous people of Biafra, as enshrined in the United Nations Charter, which is not a crime. Self-determination has never been a crime, and everyone has come to identify with the reality that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu never associated with anything that has to do with knife or gun or whatever. What Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is talking about, that the Biafrans should be given a separate sovereignty for them to actually stand and defend the jihadist tendencies that is already enveloping the country. The Kwara section part of the country, a state in Nigeria, is already destabilized. Everybody is on the run, and where are they running to? Yes, where are they running to? They are running to Biafra land. The Benues are running to Biafra land. The Plateau people are running to Biafra land. So how do we? Because they felt that is where they are going to be protected, given the fact that over 500,000 Christians has been killed, and that's the only Christian region that you can talk about in Nigeria today that has not been able to embrace what we are seeing today. But the federal government, in alliance with their Arab countries and radical Muslims all over the world, has identified that region as a conquest region where they are going to actually establish whatever they are having in mind. But that should be a red line. But the direct message to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you have severed the relationship between the Yorubas and the Igbos by that comment and by that broadcast that day is quite regrettable. It shows that we are taking the people for granted, and it might result to certain consequences. What we are expecting the federal government to do is to allow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have his own fundamental right, access to whatever he wants. But unfortunately, that has been denied, signaling that the entire 85 million Igbos, Biafrans around the world, is currently under bondage. It might result to uncertainty, I can tell you that, because there is a bottled-up anger in the eastern part of the country and all over the world concerning the decision of the Yoruba President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yes, I call him Yoruba President because he has actually, shows that he's in alliance with Islamic tendencies in this country. I think he has not been hearing how these people are taking lives on daily basis. There's nowhere in the history where in the kingdom or the progenitors of the Igbo race, have ever invaded any community, any place, anywhere in the world to, enslave them or carry out a kind of conquest. It is our fundamental right as enshrined. Unfortunately, we don't have United Nations. We do not have AU anymore. That is the reason why the Sahel nations are currently, positioning themselves for the reality on ground. Even though we are hearing, there are a lot of groundwork, that is ongoing. That another Mazi Nnamdi Kanu might likely emerge, and the world might not find it difficult if they continue to treat Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at that point, and he unfortunately loses his life. Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Yoruba people and the Yoruba race, and of course Nigeria entirely, we know that actually they have severed whatever relationship and unity and alliance in the build-up of this calamity called Nigeria. It's very unfortunate that we find ourselves in this kind of mess where the whole world seems to be silent over the reality. Let me give you a rundown of how this hatred of the Igbo started. I think in 1949, immediately after the Second World War, where the British government was actually looking for means to rebuild their nation as a result of the war, whatever that happened in the Second World War. Maybe they lost a lot of things. No, they insisted that the most powerful resources at that time, which happened to be Enugu coal, let me put it that way, must be taken forcefully by the people, and the people were demanding, no, it cannot happen. There should be what they call resource control. That was the first massacre and hatred planted by the British government. Igbos were being killed. As at that time, I'm talking to you, the entire Ijaw nation is not up to 900,000 in population. Yes, 900,000 in population, and that is the only distinct group that were found in the Biafran territory. But that hatred continued and led to the British taking a particular decision on planting forces of destabilization, which are the Fulanis, and that was how the hatred actually continued up to this moment, because a lot of people are wondering, this thing that happened in Enugu in 1949 or thereabout, led also to Muslim Nigeria Christian Biafran war, and still today it was have been killed. I wonder why Bola Ahmed Tinubu is aligning with radicals, Muslims, to take a certain decision against the people. I don't know whether he's going to go to East and to go and ask them for election. That they should vote for them. We are going to ask him, how come you are coming here? I thought he said we are a terrorist organization. Which means what will have anything to do with you? I don't know how you tend to achieve that. I think there should be a reorientation and reawakening of the Igbo people. Yes, I must commend Goodluck Jonathan for coming in with that statement concerning what actually transpired. That the Igbos has always supported their neighbors in all ramifications, and it is time for them to face the reality and reconcile with whatever they have. Yes, I am seeing Southeast going into a serious block to become one powerful region, that can stand any force. But currently now, that is what it is. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must not die in DSS custody, and that's the direct message. And IPOB is never, I can never be a terrorist organization. And this is what we are talking about. It's only in Nigeria, government, judiciary, that we can see this kind of a thing happen. IPOB members are all over the world, and none of them has been seen or in violent engagement. So I want to inform the Council of the Commonwealth to look into this abuse and call the Nigerian government to order before anything happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because it will be quite unfortunate if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu loses his life.
Okay, viewers, if you are still watching, make sure you click on the like button, drop your comment and share this program. Have a nice day.
The truth is finally out. Now that the Finnish government has declared the CDS of Nigeria, Musa, a terrorist now, what is the next phase of the lie? What lies can the government tell Nigerians? Now that Samuel Ekpa is no longer in the picture, because it has always been pictured that Samunepa is the cause of insurgency in Southeast. And now that insurgency has stopped in Southeast, and now that the Finnish government has vindicated Samunepa, that those sponsoring insecurity and terrorists in the country are those some persons in the military. Now, where would CDS Musa bury his shame? Because a group of people are saying we want to exit the country. Because the Igbos are saying they are tired of the contraption called One Nigeria. That this One Nigeria, it will not work. And then it has not been working. It has been a country full of lies, propaganda, and shame. That has always been how it is from. So I am not surprised that the Finnish government has now come out to say CDS Musa is a terrorist for all the atrocities he has been, for all the atrocities he has committed in disguise of pretending to keep one Nigeria. And that one Nigeria has caused a whole lot of catastrophe in the country. Just some days ago, a notorious bandit that was declared wanted was seen in Katsina State with top government officials going for peace talk. Between Mazi Samunepa and that terrorist, who is more deadly? But here we are today. Mazi Kanu is still in detention. Kanu is still in detention because of the Igbophobia, of the hate. If Samunepa happens to be from the Fulani extraction, Samunepa would not be a terrorist. I can beat my chest because we've seen Fulani militias that have been given amnesty. We've seen Fulani militias that have been integrated into the society. Now that Finland are waiting to the ICC, Nigeria should immediately hand over CDS Musa for custody. Because the French government have done their own findings too. And they've seen that something is fishy under the ground. That this man has a connection with these Fulanis, has a connection with these bandits, has a connection with these terrorists. So if they are sincere, they should hand over CDS Musa to ICC for custody. Because now that the French government have done their own conclusion, I've seen that CDS Musa himself is not innocent in this. Nigeria cannot pretend as if they are not aware that CDS Musa has been declared wanted by ICC and the Finnish government. No matter how they tend to die the whole matter, it is in the social media space. Everybody has seen it that CDS Musa has been declared wanted by ICC and the Finnish government. No matter how the Nigerian government want to die this matter, but they are very quick to declare Samunepa and IPOB a terrorist group. Now that the Finnish government and the ICC has declared CDS Musa a terrorist, why is the story not online? Why is the story not flying online? Because they themselves are also part of people championing insecurity and terrorism in the country. And that is why I say that anybody that speaks against the vision of the country, they will do everything possible to take that person off the hook. They will do everything possible for them to take that person off the hook. That is why you see that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention. And the Finnish government, they were so gullible to be used by the Nigerian government. They were just too gullible. Because if they were not gullible, why would a country like Nigeria come to tell you that Samunepa is the one sponsoring insecurity all the way from Finland, and you sit your ass down in Finland and you believe them? But there are some rumors that the envelope also change hand. You know Nigerian story now. You know Nigerian government, that Nigerian government, anything that Nigerian government cannot do to bribe does not exist. I am very sure that the government have bribed the Finnish courts, and that is why I see that Samunepa was wrongfully accused and sentenced. Now that the appeal court is now coming out to reverse all your stuffs. It is now a very clear indication that Samunepa is innocent of all the charges leveled against him, because the Finnish government has come out to indict CDS Musa, saying that CDS Musa is the major financier of insecurity in Nigeria, and it should be tried by ICC, not just local courts. It should be tried by ICC. Enough of all these presents. We know that this one Nigeria, it can never work. No matter how we tend to rub our heads, no matter how we tend to try to patch things up, that one Nigeria cannot work. And that has always been the current state of Mazi, that one Nigeria would not take us anywhere, and that it will not work. Today, the truth is not coming out. The truth is not coming out. Now, the list of people, ICC will publish names of people sponsoring banditry and sponsoring insecurity in Nigeria. Their names will be published. And when that is published, let's see how CDS Musa would escape it. Let's see how CDS Musa would escape the wrath. They have used kangaroo judgments to sentence Samunepa. But today, the truth is not coming out. The truth is not out. That everybody knows the reason why insecurity is still thriving in Nigeria. And it's just because of one person that claims he is protecting the masses, rather than supporting the fight for terrorism. But the question is, how long can we continue to be deceived? How long can we continue to be deceived by the Fulanis? Don't forget that the CDS Musa is a Fulani man. How long can we continue to be deceived by a Fulani man in our own country? And tomorrow you say that BiAFRA will not exist. BiAFRA will exist. No matter how you tend to hold it, BiAFRA would exist the country. No matter how you tend to keep it, BiAFRA would exist this country. And I am sure that Mazi Kanu and Mazi Samunepa will come out strong, no matter how they tend to do all this rubbish. They will come out strong. If today is the first time of coming across this channel, please kindly like this video, share it, comment for more political discourse. Thank you.